And we are about ready for our If Necessary Championship, the winner-take-all game between Troy Post 70 and Shelby County Post 555, as Shelby County, once again, the designated home team for our final game of this 2025 Alabama American Legion State Baseball Tournament. James Hardy with you as Troy was able to throttle Shelby County in Game 1 of our, at least what's turned out to be doubleheader, by a score of 12-1, a 6-inning run rule victory earlier on this afternoon. Troy Post 70 looking to repeat again as state champions, as J.P. Anderson getting his warm-up tosses in as our starting pitcher today for Shelby County. Let's take a look at the Shelby County defense behind Anderson. Outfield of Collier Smith in left, Six in center, and Tolbert in right. Along the infield, Rascal at third, Carroll at short, Allison at second, with Davis at first and Romero behind home plate. Troy Post 70, following their loss yesterday to Shelby County Post 555, has run rule wins in their last two ball games. A 15-0 win last night over Foley Post 99, and then earlier today, 12-1 over Shelby County Post 555 in 6 innings. This is winner take all, so the winner will take home some hardwood and advance into regional play up in North Carolina. Troy in their navy blue tops today, along with the white bottoms and white sleeveless tops for Shelby County, and the triple nickel logo on the fronts. So we're about ready to get underway, as it's another steamy late July afternoon here on the campus of Troy University. We're at Riddle Pace Field as Anderson ready and comes home, and a strike call to get our if necessary game started. 3:47, our first pitch time. 91 degrees with an even 100 for the feels like temperature for game time conditions. And we have a northwest breeze at about 7 miles per hour, so blowing out here at Riddle Pace Field. 1 ball and 1 strike to Brady Richardson. Takes a fastball up and in. 2 balls and 1 strike. On deck is Tabor Offord. Offord will get the start in left field today. Fastball upstairs. 3 balls and a strike. My question, especially with Shelby County Post 555, how much pitching do they have left in the gas tank? Especially against a red-hot Troy Post 70 squad, as there's a strike call to even the count at 3-2. Shelby County had 5 errors and a balk. A number of mistakes that they committed that contributed to their run rule loss. Payoff. That's hit foul and out of play. For Brady Richardson, this will be one of the final games prior to his collegiate career that he'll play here in the state of Alabama. Next game he plays right here will be in a Troy Trojan uniform. Payoff pitch. Inside for ball 4. Leadoff walk for Richardson as Tabor Offord to the plate. Offord an outstanding game in the first game today. Walked 2 times, had a double and a single, an RBI, 4 runs scored in 5 plate appearances. Offered another one of Alabama's top athletes, top 2 sport athletes, coming out of St. James as he hits that foul. All-state honors both on the diamond and on the gridiron. That's a powerful 1-2 combo at the top of the lineup in Richardson and Offord for Troy. Anderson comes set. Long look in. Fastball strike. No balls and 2 strikes. J.P. Anderson came out of the bullpen yesterday against Daphne and pretty much shut the door down on an outstanding relief appearance. Hayes McCorkle on deck for Troy. 0-2 pitch coming up. Slow dribbler, and that's foul. Unlike yesterday's loss for Troy, they were able to build initially a small and then medium cushion, and then they exploded with a strong finish in the 6th inning. Troy's defense also turned 3 double plays, including a fitting inning and game-ending 4-3 double play in the bottom of the 6th. Anderson with the runner going, and that hits Tabor. Tabor offered, reaches on a hit by pitch. Unfortunate for Anderson on an 0-2 count, and now that adds an extra base runner. 2 runners on with nobody down for Hayes McCorkle. Right fielder for Troy. Game 1 today, 2 runs scored, 2 for 4, doubled and drove home a run with a single in the 3rd, and he has a chance to drive home another. Pitch on the way with the bunt shown, and that's laid down. A good one as Anderson nowhere to get anyone as the base is now loaded on the bunt single. Well done on the part of McCorkle as he at least throws off the Shelby County triple nickel defense. First hit of the ball game belongs to McCorkle on a bunt single. And now that brings up Ethan Walls. Walls, the designated hitter in game 1. 2 walks, 2 runs scored, a single, and overall a 1-for-2 effort. Slides in low. So Shelby County immediately with their backs against the wall. A walk, a hit by pitch, and an infield single. So the ball has not left the infield so far yet, and Troy has the bases loaded. That's a high strike call. 1 ball and 1 strike. Winner of this ball game advances to regional play in the American Legion postseason. They'll be making a trip up to Central North Carolina. Troy wants to get back to the World Series as there's a ground ball to the right side. Coming home, Richardson offered the green light around 3rd and also the green light to 3rd for McCorkle. A 2-run single for Ethan Walls. Runners now at the corners. As Offord and Richardson score to make it 2-0. So Anderson rocked now for 2 early runs. Has still nobody out here in the 1st inning. Troy is the visiting team despite playing basically on their home field, as hit right in the caboose is Caden Boutwell. And that will reload the bases. And still nobody out here in the top of the 1st inning. 2 hit by pitches, 2 singles, and a walk. As McCorkle at 3rd, Walls now at 2nd with Boutwell at 1st. Jake Franklin started at 1st earlier today. He'll get the call at 1st also today. Franklin whiffs through the breaking ball. No balls and 1 strike. Franklin earlier this afternoon reached base 3 times in 4 plate appearances. An RBI single in the 4th, as well as a hit by pitch. Franklin, a changeup, swing and a miss. Anderson dying for a 1-2-3 double play here, or some sort of force out at home. Wouldn't mind a strikeout either. Ground ball right at third as Rascal goes to third for one, and the throw across is off the mark as nobody occupying third. As coming home to score will be McCorkle, and advancing from first to third is Boutwell. So that is a fielder's choice RBI. That is a 5 unassisted fielder's choice. Franklin with the RBI as Walls retired on the play. So the first out of the inning, and another runner comes home to score. Fastball strike. Evan Taylor at the plate. 7th man in the order. Stretch, and Anderson will step off the rubber. It's already 3 runs on the board for Troy Post 70. They picked up where they left off in the 6th inning offensively. Down and in. So the count evens now with 1 ball and 1 strike. Anderson playing against one of the top hitting offenses on the mound that he'll see all summer. There's a ground ball, and nice stop by Carroll as he'll have 1 play to first base, and that is in time, but a productive out, as that is an RBI ground out for Evan Taylor, and that'll increase the lead now a 4-run advantage. So 2 down. Boutwell comes home to score from third. And then Franklin advances into scoring position. Troy has almost batted the first time through their batting order. This first pitch swing and a foul ball for Wells Gainey as he's settled in to that number 8 spot in the lineup. Gainey in game 1 had a bunt single in the 6th. Was 1 for 4. An RBI possibility here. Reaches out and hits that foul and out of play. So no balls and 2 strikes on the Troy catcher. On deck is Brody Jones. Runner at second base and Jake Franklin as Anderson comes set. 0-2 pitch soon to come. That's hit into left center field, and very well as that'll drop down as Franklin can just coast on home. Gainey around second, and he's going to continue toward third as he'll slide into third with an 0-2 triple. Makes it now 5-0 in favor of Troy. And now Troy has batted around here in the first inning. Brody Jones will get the start at second, as he'll hack away first pitch and foul it off. No balls and 1 strike. Ethan Walls with a couple of RBIs on a single. Also Franklin with an RBI fielder's choice, and Evan Taylor with an RBI ground out. Fastball inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Brody Jones, the only Troy batter in game 1 that did not record a hit as he went 0 for 4. Grounds this one over to Carroll, scoops it up and tosses across, and that's in time to retire the side. But damage done for Troy here in the top of the first inning as they score 5 runs on 3 hits with no errors and a runner left on base. We go to the bottom of the first inning as it'll be Shelby County with their first at bat. Troy 5 and Shelby County coming up. first at bat coming up for Shelby County post 555. As they're in a 5-run hole before they even get their first at bat of the ball game. James Hardy with you. And we'll take a look at the defense for Troy here in just a moment. As the starting pitcher will be Evan Taylor in this winner-take-all championship. So Taylor, the responsibility of helping get his team on the mound to the finish line for this championship Sunday. Evan Taylor, 6 foot 175, out of Headland, Alabama, a graduate in 2024 of Headland High School. And he'll face Braylon Carroll, the shortstop, who leads off for Shelby County. Fastball down and away. We'll take a look at the Shelby County full batting order as Carroll leads off. Baker Davis behind him. Slapped out of play. Jarrett Kahn, the designated hitter, bats third. Sam Tolbert in right is the cleanup batter. And Brady Rascal at third, bats fifth. 2 balls and 1 strike. Drew Allison, the second baseman, sixth. Gabe Romero, the catcher, seventh. Mason, sixth. Center fielder, eighth. And Collier Smith at the bottom of the order in left field. Bouncer over to Richardson. A Sunday hop on a Sunday. High throw, though, as Rascal able to beat it out. Not in time. Our first error of the ball game goes to Brady Richardson, as he had a routine grounder that he fielded, but may have hurried the throw that time as it almost sailed over Franklin's head. Baker Davis, the first baseman. Take a look at how he did in game one, as he was 0 for 3, including a strikeout. 1 ball and no strikes. Take a look at the full defense after this pitch. A big rip and a miss. Tabor in left. Take that, Offord in left. Tabor Offord along with Boutwell in center and McCorkle in right. A toss over to first base, not in time. And Walls at third. Richardson the shortstop. Jones at second and Franklin first with Gainey behind home plate. Baker Davis takes a strike as he falls behind 1 ball and 2 strikes. Troy defense turned 3 ground ball double plays in game 1. Curveball outside. Troy a 5 spot in their opening at bat. Pitch home. Pop up behind second, as calling for it is Jones, as he couldn't find the baseball, as he'll just toss to second for an easy fielder's choice. Initially, he called for it. Initially may have located the baseball and then lost it in the sun, but dropped right next to him. And then with the pop-up, not much that Carroll could do, so it will just turn into a 4-6 fielder's choice. So Carroll officially retired on the play, 1 down. And that'll bring up Jarrett Kahn, the designated hitter. Kahn behind no balls and 1 strike, as he was 1 for 3 and grounded into 2 double plays in game 1 as he whiffs through the 0-1. Evan Taylor trying to get a scoreless inning of work. Pitch home. Upstairs. Yeah, 2 of those 3 double plays were off the bat of Kahn. A 3-6-3 double play in the first of game 1, and then a game-ending 4-3 double play in the 6th. Good eye by Kahn as he lets that breaking ball, a drop ball on the softball diamond, go in the dirt. So So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Taylor comes set. Fastball outside. So Kahn good at bat as he has worked from an 0-2 hole, and now the count full of 3-2. Breaking ball just a hair low for ball 4. 1 out walk for Kahn as that sets up Sam Tolbert with 2 runners aboard as Baker Davis now into scoring position. Tolbert 0 for 2, including grounding into an around the horn double play in game 1. Hits that into left field, has offered about 4 steps back to make the catch. 2 down as the runners have to remain put. As coming up will be Rascal, the third baseman. Brady Rascal got the start on the mound in game 1. Went 5 innings and did not have a lot of defensive support in game 1 as the pitch on the way is taken high for ball 1. Troy sent their entire lineup to the plate in their opening at bat. Shelby County would at least like to crack the scoreboard here as that's taken downstairs. 2 balls and no strikes. Not a good position to be in here. Shelby County already behind the 8 ball by 5. Grounded over to third as Walls scoops and just tags the runner coming toward him, and Baker Davis for the 5 unassisted fielder's choice. So that'll do it for Shelby County post 555 as they get no runs on no hits. There was an error and 2 left on base. We're through 1 as Troy leads 5-0 here in the winner-take-all championship on JockJive.com. One inning in the books as Troy leads by a score of 5-0. The top third of the Troy batting order as they sent all 9 of their starters to the plate in the bottom of the first inning. James Hardy with you as Troy was able to take home a 12-1 victory in game 1, and they appear well en route to a similar type of performance here. J.P. Anderson, the start on the mound for Shelby County post 555. A tough matchup for any of the teams in this state tournament field, especially when Troy post 70 is clicking on all cylinders. Troy, the American Legion World Series champions a season ago, as Brady Richardson has been committed to Troy University for the past 3 seasons. As he'll come up to the plate here in the second inning. Richardson walked and scored to get the first inning rally going. He swings and sends that into center field, ranging over, and Mason Six able to make the catch. 1 pitch and 1 out here in the second. Six has been very solid, rock solid in center field defensively this week. Tabor offered a hit by pitch and one of the 5 runners to score for Troy in that first. Big hit in the inning for Troy was Ethan Walls' 2-run single. A strike call and then a Wells Gainey 2-out run scoring triple. Stretch and pitch. And misses up and in. Shelby County was able to get a couple of runners on base, but they just couldn't cash in, as that has been an issue with them this week, is fully being able to capitalize on their run scoring opportunities. 2 balls and 1 strike now on Offord. Anderson ready, pitch outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. We'll take a look at how these teams were able to get here as far as their state tournament journey. Line drive into left field. That's a base hit for Tabor Offord. A solid rope into left field as he gets his first hit of the day, and that's the 4th for Troy's offense. Hayes McCorkle, a bunt single and a run scored in the first. You look at first off for Shelby County. And they won the opening game of the tournament over Daphne as that flies over the head of McCorkle. Offered into scoring position on a wild pitch. So Troy looking to add to their lead now, as you get the teeth of and the power portion of this lineup. Beginning now with McCorkle. Anderson pitch. Slice down the line. And that'll drop foul. So 1 ball and 1 strike. For Shelby County, they defeated Daphne and then Foley on Thursday and Friday respectively. They were able to come from behind and beat Troy yesterday, and also Daphne in 5 innings. That's hit foul toward the third base dugout. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Unless there are any more summer tournaments here, I believe the next baseball games to be played here at Riddle Pace Field will be the 2026 college baseball regular season for the Trojans. That's hit well into center field. That'll drop down. Green light for Offord around third, and he'll come home to score. An RBI single for McCorkle. He's 2 for 2, and the lead now extends to 6-0. A 1-2 count as McCorkle drove that pitch into center field. So McCorkle with the run scored, as we'll have a pitching change coming up for Shelby County post 5:55. We'll tell you who the new pitcher is following this timeout. You're watching the American Legion Alabama State Baseball Championship on JockJive.com. A pitching change for Shelby County post 555 as they trail 6-0. Still early on here in the bottom of the second inning from Riddle Pace Field on the campus of Troy University. I'll tell you who the new pitcher is here in just a moment. It's J.P. Anderson leaves with 1 1/3 innings for his outing today. Braylon Carroll will go over from his shortstop spot and now become the second pitcher at the ball game. So it also means we'll have a change at shortstop for Shelby County. Carroll, 5'10", 180 pounds. He'll be a rising senior at Thorsby High School. Almost halfway between Montgomery and Birmingham. So that'll basically be the trip home for Carroll coming up after today. About an hour, 45 minutes or so from the Troy University campus. As Carroll will get plenty of time for his warm-up pitches as he'll take on Ethan Walls, I beg your pardon, for his first batter of the game. And also a runner inherited over at first base in Hayes McCorkle. So Anderson, as we mentioned, 1 1/3 innings. 5 hits allowed so far, 6 runs, all of those earned. Hit a couple of batters, also walked a batter, and did not strike out a batter. So Carroll will see if he can at least slow down a powerful Troy offense. About to resume play is Ethan Walls, a 2-run single in the first. Takes a strike call here. Batting cleanup in this ball game. A decent lead over at first for McCorkle. He goes, pitch outside, throw down, and that'll get by the shortstop. So now moving over to shortstop is Drew Allison from his second base spot. So at least a few defensive changes for Shelby County. There's now a runner into scoring position with less than 2 outs. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Popped up, slices away from the field and goes out of play. Troy impressive now through 3 consecutive ball games, as they've gradually built a lead in their last 3 ball games. Shelby County came back yesterday from a 4-run deficit, but in this one, Troy immediately seizing firm control. Fly ball. Down the line in right field is Tolbert into foul territory. Makes the grab. Runner tags as McCorkle able to slide into third. Productive out as there's now 2 down. A foul out to right, as that sets up an RBI opportunity for Caden Boutwell. Boutwell hit by a pitch and scored in the first. That'll miss down and in for ball 1. Boutwell, a couple of triples and a homer yesterday in the win over Foley, as that's hit back to the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike. Shelby County will need an explosive offensive production if they want to fight back in this winner-take-all championship. Pitch upcoming, and that comes inside. Shelby County post 555 out of Pelham, and the host squad this weekend, Troy, post 70. Fastball inside. So 3 balls and 1 strike. This game concludes the 2025 American Legion State Tournament for the state of Alabama. It began on Thursday as the pitch high for ball 4. So runners at the corners after a 5-pitch walk for Boutwell. Jake Franklin, RBI fielder's choice his last time up. Franklin the start at first base today. A toss over to first base, that'll at least keep Boutwell honest. Just the second at bat at this ball game for the Troy offense, and already 6 on the board as there's a bouncer knocked down by the third baseman Rascal, as that'll trickle into left field as the stop sign given at third base to Boutwell. And let's see how they call that. And they're going to give that, that's a tough error there on the third baseman Rascal, so that'll be no RBI on the play as McCorkle comes home to score, and then Boutwell all the way to third. So now a 7-0 lead as runners at the corners, as that'll come in and hit Evan Taylor on the top of his foot. Top of the front foot, another hit by pitch for Shelby County pitching, as that'll send Franklin up to second base. Bases loaded for Wells Gainey as he is driven in a run with a triple. A tough afternoon for Shelby County as they got throttled in the first game of this 2-game set today. 5 errors and a balk did not help them out either. Like the defensive miscues kind of set up the tone for their first game as Gainey takes a strike. Troy, 1 batter away from again batting around. Swing and a miss. A big rip that time for Gainey as he falls behind. Pitch almost hitting Gainey as the count now of 1 ball and 2 strikes. 5 runs given up, all earned. Or check that, 7 runs given up for Anderson as his book comes to a close. 1 in the 3rd innings, 5 hits, 7 runs all earned with a couple of hit batters, 1 hit batter rather, a walk and no strikeouts. 1-2. Upstairs, and then leaving the count at 2-2. Big thanks for the folks at Troy University as well as the American Legion for helping us out this week as the 2-2 looked pretty good as far as Carroll was concerned. Not good enough for our umpire as a full count now coming up with the runners on base getting a head start. Runners go, and that's fisted foul and over the first base dugout. Brody Jones on deck. Fans today have at least seeked the shade ever since getting out to Riddle Pace Field before 1 o'clock. So even at about 9:30, it was sweltering out there. Flared into center field, and that's going to drop down for a base hit. Scoring Boutwell and Franklin as ahead to third base goes Taylor. A 2-run, 2-strike RBI single for Wells Gainey as that makes it now 9-0. So Troy now has batted around for the 2nd time so far today. Jones a ground out to short his last time up, and he'll bounce this one to third. Across the diamond goes Rascal for the 5-3 putout to retire the side. But 4 more runs score for Troy to extend their lead to 9-0 as we go to the bottom of the second inning here on JockJive.com. Troy putting on an offensive display and showing you when they are playing at their best. They are hard to beat as Troy posts 70, batted around for the second time in as many at-bats as they scored 4 on 3 hits with an error and left 2 on base in the top of the second inning. So far, 9 runs on a total of 6 hits. Or check that, 5 hits. They only had a couple of hits in their first at-bat, so officially 9 runs on 5 hits with 1 error. They've left 3 on base. Still no runs for Shelby County, just 1 at-bat for them. No runs, no hits, and error, and they've left a couple on base. James Hardy with you as Troy en route right now to what would appear to be their 3rd consecutive run rule victory of the tournament. Still a lot of baseball to go, even for what would be a shortened 5-inning run rule type of win. Drew Allison started at second, moved up to shortstop when Braylon Carroll went on the mound. As J.P. Anderson just 1 1/3 innings as the first pitch from Taylor for ball 1. Pitch home, swing and a miss, 1 ball and 1 strike. Allison, 5'9", 160. As that'll bounce downstairs, 2 balls and 1 strike. Shelby County has played well so far this week, just have run into an outstanding squad as that's hit hard into right as going over. Nice play by McCorkle as he was able to catch up to that line drive for out number 1. Not much more you could do if you're Drew Allison. He hit that on the nose, but McCorkle able to catch up to that line drive for out number 1. Gabe Romero, he's had a couple of good games in as many games so far, as that's a high bouncer foul. No balls and 1 strike. Romero has started behind home plate the last 3 ball games. Lifts this one into left field. It should be an easy play and is for Offord. 2 down. So a couple of easy outs for Evan Taylor, as that'll bring up Mason 6, the center fielder. Mason 6, 5'10", 165. A recent graduate of Pelham High School. Swings and misses at the changeup. Mason 6 earlier today struck out a couple of times, as he'll bounce this one to the right side. Easy play for Franklin and a 1-2-3 inning for Taylor as Shelby County goes down in order. We're through 2 innings of play here at Riddle Pace Field in Troy as Troy Post 70 leads Shelby County Post 555 9-0 in the winner-take-all championship game of the Alabama American Legion State Tournament on JockJive.com. Two innings through as Troy Post 70 dominating early on against Shelby County Post 555 by a score of 9-0. Braylon Carroll back out on the mound for his second inning of work. Troy has batted around in their first two at-bats so far today, as they'll begin at the top of their order for a third consecutive inning. Brady Richardson, we mentioned as far as game one, how he's been a Trojans commit for the last 3 years. So he had his mind made up where he wanted to go. By the way, Jarrett Kahn now in the ball game at second base for Shelby County. And then looking as far as some of Skylar Mead's thoughts on his improvement and getting eventually to his signing with Troy University. Coach Skylar Mead mentions the improvement on the mound as well as in the field and in the box. So really a comprehensive across-the-board improvement, but also will tell you something he really noticed after this foul ball that makes it no balls and one strike for Brady Richardson. The work in the weight room with his strength training may be the most impressive part as far as the development for Brady Richardson, according to Skylar Mead. Down and in. And according to Coach Mead, as far as his forecast, a real chance to do both here at continue to improve and really be a key player at the next level. Grounder over to third as the throw errant and flagged down by Davis. Routine ground ball. And at least that time fielded by Rascal, but his throw was well off the mark. And so a runner on base thanks to another defensive error for at least the home team in this one in Shelby County 555. Tabor offered. We'll take low for ball one. Troy needs to just get one more run before the bottom of the fifth inning and hold Post 555 off the board to get a mercy rule victory today. Richardson goes, pitch strike, and throw down, not in time. Check that pitch outside. And a runner into scoring position now is Brady Richardson into scoring position. Pitch outside. Tabor offered at the plate. A two-sport all-state selection at St. James. As that'll be low on a 3-0, and ball four is offered now aboard. So two runners on and still nobody out for Hayes McCorkle. McCorkle 2 for 2. A bunt single in the first and an RBI single in the second as he takes on the bunt for ball one. For Troy, they're ready to just pound some more runs on the board as that slices foul and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. They've scored early and often so far, as they're looking to put more on the board. Here's the pitch on the way. Breaking ball high, 2-1. Here's the stretch. And pitch on the way. That's ripped into left field and coming in and drops in front of and now past Smith in left. And here comes some base runners around the bases as coming home to score Richardson and Offord. As coasting into third base will be Hayes McCorkle with a 2-run triple. I mean, why not at this point for Collier Smith as he tried to make the spectacular grab in left as it landed in front of him, and then with his sliding effort goes past him on the artificial surface all the way to the wall. So the lead now up to 11-0. So the first run that's scored is an unearned run charged to Carroll. No balls and 1 strike now to Ethan Walls. Walls off the end of the bat and foul. No balls and 2 strikes. So Hayes McCorkle with 3 RBIs in the ball game. Walls grounds this one up the middle. Should get the run home. Fielded by Kahn, as he'll throw to first base in time. 4-3 RBI ground out increases the lead to 12-0 for Troy. So that also clears the bases, so 1 down and nobody aboard for Caden Boutwell. Boutwell hit by a pitch, walked and scored. He'll take a strike call. Boutwell, a teammate of Richardson down at Enterprise High. Lines this one into right center field. That goes down as a base hit. And trying to stretch it into 2. And sliding in head first for 2 is Caden Boutwell. So a double. His first hit of the day has now reached base 3 times. Total of 7 hits so far on the afternoon as a team for Troy. Jake Franklin reached on an error his last time up. He scored a couple of times and almost gets hit. 1 ball and no strikes. Troy post 70 appears to be en route to another regional appearance as they're trying to set up another trip to the World Series. Fly ball left field. Collier Smith slows down to make the catch. 2 outs as Boutwell will advance over to third base on the fly ball. Productive out for Troy as a runner now at third. Brings up Evan Taylor, who was hit by a pitch in the second and then grounded out and drove in a run in the first. Fastball high, strike call. Wells Gainey on deck. Off the end of the bat as that goes out of play, and quickly no balls and 2 strikes. I think that loss that Troy suffered at the hands of Shelby County yesterday put a little burr in their saddle as they've been able to respond and play really at their capability ever since. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Looking to get their 13th run on the board. High fly ball. Playable for Collier Smith as he makes the catch, and that'll do it for Troy here in the 3rd. They add to their lead with 3 more runs on a couple of hits with an error and 1 left in scoring position. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. It is now Troy 12 and Shelby County nothing. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning as Collier Smith will lead off at the bottom of the order for Shelby County post 555. And then back to the top of the order for Braylon Carroll and Baker Davis as Evan Taylor has gone 2 innings so far, has not allowed a hit, has walked a batter, has yet to record a strikeout as well. Collier Smith, our first time in this ball game for him to come to the plate. A graduate of Thompson High School this past May. We'll certainly talk more about Shelby County post 555 as our buddy Alan was talking about yesterday, at least with me. We'll talk more about as far as just the overall community involvement that post 555 has with the Pelham and really that northern Shelby County and entire Shelby County for that matter. As the pitch downstairs for a ball. 1 ball and no strike. At least one of our representatives with the American Legion, strike 1 call from the Pelham area. Able to get a lot of information as just far as the overall type of service to the Shelby County community and our state that post 555 has been able to make. A lot of work, especially with the American Village, just the veteran community in Shelby County as a ground ball foul, and especially how like a lot of the players on the Shelby County post 555 roster this year in the Pelham High School community do as far as reaching out to the veterans in their community. There's a foul ball, especially when it comes to Memorial Day, Veterans Day. I know one of those mentioned as far as laying wreaths at the tombstones as far as our fallen warriors. Swing and a miss and a strikeout for Taylor. Collier Smith goes down on strikes. At least for post 555, and really a lot, not just them, but a lot of the American Legion posts, not only across our state but around our country, as far as that proactive service when it comes to our communities. 1 down, 1 ball, and now 2 balls and no strikes to Braylon Carroll as he reached on an error by Richardson in the 1st. And a miss downstairs. 3 balls and no strikes. And, of course, baseball, one of the ways as far as for 100 years now for the American Legion to reach out as far as involving the young people in our communities. 3 balls and 1 strike now on Braylon Carroll. As the pitch downstairs, ball 4. So Carroll on for the 2nd time. As Baker Davis, his 2nd at bat. Davis so far today, a fielder's choice back in the first. He'll swing away and foul it off. No balls and one strike. Baker Davis, a graduate this past May of Hueytown High School. Hit foul, and that'll slice out of play. A hot but dry day so far today here in Troy, as the 0-2 bounces in there for ball one. Did experience about an 80-minute rain delay yesterday, and also weather delays the prior 2 days to begin the tournament. Breaking ball a little bit low. Runner at first base in Braylon Carroll gets his lead. One hop grounder knocked down and away from Jones. That was a hot smash, as that's going to go down as the first hit of the ball game for Shelby County. That would have been a spectacular play if Jones had been able to field cleanly. And that'll set up runners at first and second with one out for Jarrett Kahn, who walked his first time up. Kahn came in at second base in the first inning. Or checked in the second inning, as he'll get ahead in the count here. 1 ball and no strikes. At second base is Carroll. Davis at first. That drops downstairs. So 2 balls and no strikes. Both teams battling in the heat so far through game 1 and now game 2. A strike call. Still a hitter's count for Kahn. Also a Hueytown grad. Ground ball. That gets through the left side for a base hit. Offered will get the ball back in as the base is now loaded. Carroll to third. Davis to second, and Kahn with his first hit of the day. He's now reached base twice. That'll load the bases for Sam Tolbert. Tolbert flied out to left his first time up. So now the offense for Shelby County showing some signs of life. Getting into the teeth of their middle of the order. Swing and a miss. Changeup bottoms out that time once it got to the plate. Pitch home, and that's same result that time. Pretty much the same pitch from Troy's Evan Taylor. No balls and 2 strikes. Pitch on the way. Upstairs, a fastball. See if Taylor set up that pitch to try and go with that changeup. And does indeed. About as predictable as you can get, but a good result for Taylor, as he's able to get his first strikeout. Check that, second strikeout of the ball game. Keeps the bases loaded now with 2 down. As Brady Rascal to the plate. Last time up, he grounded into a 5 unassisted fielder's choice, and that ended the first inning. Pitch on the way, that's upstairs. Rascal, 5'10", 160 pounds, out of Montgomery's Trinity Presbyterian. Taylor comes home. Hit foul on the 2-0, so 2 balls and 1 strike. Fourth inning, we'll see the 8, 9, and 1 batters for Troy post 70. Wind and pitch. Strike evens the count at 2-2. Shelby County left 2 on in the first inning, went down in order in the second, and they've been able to load the bases, but they're trying to come through as a bouncer over to Richardson as he'll set, gather, and throw, an accurate throw for out number 3. For Shelby County post 555, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 3 left on base. We're through 3, and it's all Troy up 12-0. Troy 12 and Shelby County nothing in the Alabama American Legion State Baseball Championship. This is the if necessary game. So right now Troy with just 6 more outs would take home yet another state championship and advance into regional play to begin August. We appreciate you for joining us here on JockJive.com. Also, let's take a look as far as how some Dixie boys baseball and some of their scores from today. Alabama able to eliminate Texarkana 9-0. Also, North Carolina defeating Florida 9-6. And from yesterday, it was Livingston, Texas over Dothan 15-0 in 3 innings. And then Pine Belt over Louisiana 11-1. And Hattiesburg over Texas 5-2. And that was in the 5th inning at that last report. So looks as if we'll have a substitution coming in for Troy. Check out who the pinch hitter is. As Carroll back on the mound, as there's a slow chopper, and that will just go foul. Heady play that time by Rascal to just let it go foul. So looks like we have a substitution, as we mentioned. It's number 22 on the roster as there's a strike call to make it no balls and 2 strikes. Wells Gainey leaves his spot at the plate as the pitch is popped up and will go and stay in the infield as the second baseman Kahn makes the grab. 1 up and 1 down as Brody Jones' spot at the bottom of the order due up, and it will be Brody Jones. So Jones today grounded out to second and grounded out to, grounded out to short in the first and grounded out to third to in the second. So Braylon Carroll with 3 in a row set down. That's lined foul and out of play. Troy would love to make this a run rule shortened game for the what would be their third consecutive win. That's chopped up the middle, and that's going to get through for a base hit. So Jones, his first hit of the ball game, went hitless, the only player to go hitless earlier against Shelby County. Back to the top of the order in Brady Richardson as he has walked, flied out to center, and reached on a fielding error. He's scored a couple of times. 12 runs now on 8 hits with an error. And so far, 4 left on base for Troy. Strike call, no balls and 1 strike. No runs on just a couple of hits with a couple of errors. And 5 left on base for Shelby County. Runner goes, hit and run, sliced into right field as Tolbert played pretty well as he makes the catch in fair territory. Good scouting that time for Shelby County and their coaching staff as the fly out along the line, 2 down. Tabor Offord has scored 3 times, was hit by a pitch in the first, singled in the second, and walked in the third. 6, 7, and 8 due up for Shelby County in their half of the fourth. That's downstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. Of the 7-inning game, we'd be about halfway home, but right now we're probably a bit past that halfway point. Runner goes, swing and a miss, and the throw's going to be really late. Jones got a solid jump and then combined that with the methodical delivery home from Carroll. Allowed Brody Jones to easily swipe second base. 1 ball and 1 strike. Alford looking for the RBI now. That's hit foul toward the parking lot. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hayes McCorkle, who's 3 for 3, is on deck. Carroll out of the stretch. Comes home, about to come home, now comes home. That's beaten into the ground foul. Looking at this Troy roster, most of the roster has either graduated last year or just a couple months ago. Up the middle as coming in will be Allison as he throws and does get offered by about a half step. That'll retire the side, and for the first time today, Troy does not score a run. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and a runner left in scoring position. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning as it remains Troy 12 and Shelby County nothing. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning as Troy left a runner in scoring position and failed to score for the first time today. Back on the mound comes Evan Taylor as he's worked 3 scoreless innings. He's allowed a couple of hits, walked 2 batters, has not hit a batter, and he has struck out a couple. Drew Allison to the plate as he has lined out to right in his most recent plate appearance. Moved over to shortstop in the second as he takes the fastball, ball 1. Allison, Romero, and 6 to the plate. Fastball in there, a strike call. Troy about 6 outs away from making another run, potentially not only through regional but also national tournament play. A strike call, 1-2 on Allison. Swing and a miss. A little cleanup job now. As the throw a little bit high, but no worries, as Franklin able to flag down the high throw. 1 down. So 2-3 on the scoring, as Gainey will get a much-deserved breather as he comes out. So 1 down after the 2-3 putout is Gabe Romero to the plate. Romero a fly out to left his last time up. Oh, ouch, that comes in and I'd have gotten some of that elbow. And hopefully Romero's okay. First hit batter for Taylor today. And so that's going to put a runner at first base, not before a little medical-related TLC. Hopefully Romero's okay. Might be looking even around the wrist area. A fastball that came in, and that's going to be a bit sore later this evening for Romero, as he'll gradually walk to first base to try and at least let the sting of that hit by pitch subside. Mason 6 set for his second at bat. Grounded out to first in the second. After losing yesterday to Shelby County, Troy has now scored double-digit runs in their last 3 ball games. A combined total of 39 runs over those last 3. 2 balls and no strikes now, as Mason 6 has taken high on both of the pitches that he's seen. So Romero will gut it out after getting hit by a pitch. On the rest as he'll go. Pitch high, throw down, and that gets away from Richardson. So 3 balls and no strikes now, as that's a stolen base for Gabe Romero. So once again, Shelby County trying to crack the scoreboard as we're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Pitch on the way. And that's a strike call. 6 thought it might have been a little bit inside. It flipped the bat, so he'll have to go back and get it, and he'll have another pitch to see here on the 3-1. Taylor comes home. Swing and a miss, had a changeup. Mason 6 now trying to get a hit here as the payoff upcoming. Lined and short hopped, and so the throw to first base for the putout in time. Jones thought that might have had a little more carry to allow him to catch it on the fly, but instead it'll be a productive out to allow Romero to advance to third. So 2 down for Collier Smith, who struck out swinging in the third. Wind and pitch on the way. There's a strike call. Shelby County needs 3 runs at least over either this at bat or the next at bat to keep the game going beyond the 5th. Swing and a miss, as Collier Smith in an 0-2 hole. Troy scored 5 in their first at bat, as that's a nice stop behind home plate. Still trying to figure out who number 22 is behind home plate. We'll see if we can get that as a ground ball right side. Easy play for Jones. And that'll do it for Shelby County here in the bottom of the 4th inning. No runs on no hits, no errors, and a runner stranded at third. We are through 4 innings of play. What could be the final inning of this tournament, as Troy still leads 12-0. We go to the top of the fifth inning as Troy set for what likely will be their final at-bat of the tournament. James Hardy with you as Troy has more than their necessary amount of runs that they need right now, as they are up by a score of 12-0. I think we got the substitution that I wasn't sure about as far as trying to locate his number on the roster. I think that is Jacob Shiver that came in a couple of innings ago as far as the at-bat and replacing Wells Gainey behind home plate. Hayes McCorkle, Ethan Walls, and Caden Boutwell will get plate appearance to begin this top of the fifth inning. Braylon Carroll came on in the second, as he'll remain in the ball game. As Troy, recapping this ball game, scored 5 in their first at bat, as they batted around in the first and also batted around in the second, as they scored 4. Highlight offensively so far today: 3 RBIs and 2 hits for Wells Gainey, a triple and an RBI in the first and a 2-run single in the second. Also, Hayes McCorkle 3 for 3 with 3 runs scored and 3 RBIs. All Troy so far this afternoon in Game 1, as they won 12-1 in 6 innings. And right now they're up 12-0, looking to run rule Shelby County for a second time. And really, as far as Troy against Shelby County over the last 24 hours, it was one bad inning that got them to this if necessary game. Lined on the 1-0, and that goes into left field for the 4th hit today for McCorkle. So McCorkle able to rip a single into left field. He has almost half of his team's hits in this if necessary game. Ethan Walls, a 2-run single in the first. That got Troy on the board in the very first at bat, as the count at 1 ball and no strikes. Set and pitch with the runner going low. Throw, that won't be in time. In fact, you have Allison having to chase down the throw. So runner now into scoring position. 2 balls and no strikes. 12 runs now on 9 hits, just 1 error. And so far 5 left on base. Walls takes a curveball, a strike call. Imagine we'll have some some hardware rather to hand out as far as some individual honors and of course the championship trophy following the game. Big swing and a miss evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The shadows mostly, as far as the stands are concerned, covering the seats around home plate. Only a certain portion of spots down the third base line still in the sun. Sliced into left, as that'll drop down for a base hit. Around third base goes McCorkle, as he'll come home to score on an RBI single from Ethan Walls. So now 13-0 in favor of Troy. Brings up Caden Boutwell. Boutwell has reached base 3 times, doubled in the third, also hit by a pitch in the first, walked in the second, and has scored twice. Breaking ball, that's a strike call. The 4th inning so far, the only inning that Troy has failed to score. Bounces in there and evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. On deck is Jake Franklin. The total team contribution again today for the Troy roster as that bounces in for a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Big thanks to all of our JockJive on-air crew this week for teaming up and presenting to you the American Legion State Tournament here at Riddle Pace Field, as the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jason Thompson here the prior couple of days prior to my arrival. That's skied into left field, and that has some carry to it as Smith goes back and watches that go over the fence for a 2-run homer. So Caden Boutwell with a 2-run shot, his second homer of the tournament, as that makes it now 15-0. Ethan Walls also comes home to score, as that was sent about 375 feet to left center field. Or check that, I beg your pardon, a ground rule double. As that was a bounced over the wall for a ground rule double to still drive a run home. I beg your pardon, no runs coming home to score. I thought that had left the park, but it's a double on the play, as that'll set up Jake Franklin. So Franklin upstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike. Franklin in search of his first hit of the day. A check swing. That'll get 1 run home as Allison, routine ground ball, fields and throws to first base in time. That will add 1 run on the board, as now it'll be Walls scoring from third. And so that'll put the first out on the board and run number 14 for the ball game. As Boutwell doubled, as he's now at third. And we'll have more of the bench cleared now for Troy. Drew Colon comes on to bat for Evan Taylor. First time we've seen him this week. 6'1", 175, out of Wicksburg High School. In fact, a graduate of Wicksburg. 2-1 on him. And a strike call will even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So far, 3 hits in the inning, as Cologne will foul it off to keep the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So it's always good as far as in a blowout game and mop-up duty to try and clear the bench, whether you're on the long end or the short end of the stick. Upstairs, and that moves the count to 3 balls and 2 strikes on Drew Colon, the pinch hitter. Fly ball. Should get the runner home from third, as Collier Smith makes the catch along the line. And coasting home to score will be Caden Boutwell. A sac fly RBI for Cologne, and that'll now make it 15-0. Also clears the bases with 2 down. So Jacob Shiver popped up to second his first time up, as he'll swing and foul it off. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 5th inning, what I would almost say will be the final at-bat of the tournament this week for Shelby County. The top third of their order due up. Slow chopper. Should be an easy play, and is for Carroll. He'll toss to first base in time to retire Shaver and close out the 5th inning. But 3 more runs come home to score on 3 hits, no errors, and nobody left on base for Troy. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning as Troy looking to secure another state championship, as you're watching the Alabama American Legion State Tournament here on JockJive.com. New pitcher into the ballgame as Tabor Offord comes in from left field, as Drew Colon will take Offord's place in left. Evan Taylor today, 4 solid innings, 2 hits, no runs allowed. Hit a batter, walked a couple, and also contributed 3 strikeouts in what will be a winning performance for Evan Taylor in the start. So Offord looking to get 3 final outs as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's Braylon Carroll, Baker Davis, and Jarrett Kahn will lead off the bottom of the 5th in what should be the final at-bat of this tournament for Shelby County post 555. Troy post 70 well on their way to another regional appearance up in North Carolina, trying to defend as American Legion World Series champions for a 2nd consecutive season. And what will also could be their 3rd World Series title in the past 4 summers. Troy lost their first state tournament game yesterday since 2019, but they have rebounded with a vengeance over their last 3 games here at Riddle Pace Field. Braylon Carroll reached on an error in the 1st and walked in the 3rd. Offord comes home, and that's downstairs for ball 1. Looking at how Troy was able to advance throughout the week as a strike call evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Troy able to beat Huntsville post 237 on Thursday as a fly ball caught by McCorkle, 1 down. They beat Troy did on Thursday. Huntsville post 237 before beating Hackleburg post 165 on Friday. Fell to Shelby County yesterday and then smashed Daphne post 199 last night. Baker Davis swings and misses. Fielder's choice in the 1st and then singled in the 3rd. Another swing and a miss. 15 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error today for Troy as they left 5 aboard. 0-2. High and away. So far for Shelby County, no runs on a couple of hits. They've had a couple of errors and so far have left 6 on base. 1-2, high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Offord just missed a little bit high with the curveball. Offord winds and fires. Way high as the count goes full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Not always how you start a tournament, but a strong finish for Troy this week as that 3-2 is high and away for ball 4. Davis, his first walk today. Jarrett Kahn came in at 2nd back in the 2nd inning as he has reached base twice on a walk in the 1st and then a single in the 3rd. Troy has not trailed so far in either game today. Did not trail against Foley yesterday as we'll have time called and a substitution set to check in for Shelby County. So a pinch runner coming in for Davis. So Jet Hoffwood comes in as the pinch runner. Shelby County needs 6 runs to keep this game going as a strike call. No balls and 1 strike to Kahn. Grounded into 2 double plays in game 1 earlier today. Foul ball makes it no balls and 2 strikes. Troy 2 more outs away from claiming another American Legion state championship in the Yellowhammer State. They'll go up to Asheboro, North Carolina for the American Legion Regional. That's hit hard, and that'll go foul toward the batting cages. Been really nice being able to come down here as far as not only the players, but really all of us, as far as being able to broadcast this week. Jason Thompson and myself from Troy University. Certainly a big-time college setup as far as the setup we have this week. Pitch on the way. Grounded, and nice backhanded stop by Walls. Throws across, and good scoop equally over at first base in time. The runner going, by the way, in Hopwood as he's able to make it all the way to third. And an outstanding play on both ends from a 5-3 putout, by the way, for the second out as the runner Hopwood from first to third on the play. You had Walls for the infield assist. And then also, I think another substitution checked in. Yes, Porter Dykes, a good scoop on the back end as Shelby County down to their final out. Sam Tolbert ahead in the count is so far 0 for 2. He'll take downstairs. That was a great defensive play on both ends by Troy's defense. Walls on the backhanded one-hop stab. And then similarly on the receiving end on the throw from Dykes. Had to take a short hop and did so very, very cleanly. Strike call on the 2-1, and that'll even the count and bring Shelby County down to their final strike. Pitch hit pretty well into center as Boutwell slows down and makes the catch. As once again, Troy post 70 takes home another Alabama State Tournament Championship for the American Legion. A fly out to center field closes out the ball game. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a runner left in scoring position. As your final score from Riddle Pace Field is Troy 15 and Shelby County nothing. For the ball game, Shelby County no runs on a couple of hits with 2 errors as they left a total of 7 on base. And then for Troy, they scored 15 runs on 11 hits with just 1 error and left 6 on base. A big thanks to the American Legion, Troy University. A big special thanks to Barry McKnight for letting us use his multimedia booth this week, as well as all of our JockJive crew, Jason Thompson, along with Robert Williamson and others. Once again, a job well done by everybody this week here at Troy University. We'll step aside. I think we're going to have a little hardware to hand out for both teams as Troy post 70 will advance into regional play in North Carolina once again with a 15-0 win over Shelby County post 555. So we wish you a happy Sunday from Riddle Pace Field. James Hardy signing off here on JockJive.com.